Hey there, it's Melissa Brunetti, and welcome to the Mind Your Own Karma podcast.
Hey there, Karma crew. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Mind Your Own Karma, the Adoption Chronicles. Today I have a special guest. He is an adoptee. His name is Jacky HARNER, and Jacky is a transnational transgender adoptee. He was adopted from Chișinău, Moldova at 2 years of age to the United States. He enjoys ice hockey and skateboarding as hobbies and loves music. I also hear he is a very talented artist and animal lover with the biggest heart. Here is my interview with Jacky HARNER. We are welcoming Jacky to the show today. Hi, Jacky.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. Hanging in there.
Good. Awesome. So thank you so much for wanting to share your story on the podcast. I think it's going to be a little different than we normally hear, and I know there's somebody out there that's going to relate to it. So thanks for coming on the show.
No problem.
So let's just start and jump right in to know what were the circumstances of your adoption? What do you know?
My mother couldn't take care of me in Moldova, and the letter that was translated said, "I am alone. I have no husband," and I was actually rejected 3 or 4 times by Moldova, and they wouldn't put me up. So someone had to step in and be like, "Yeah, this child's not going to thrive here. He needs help."
So where were you born again?
Chișinău, Moldova. So, yeah, you're okay. Yeah, Romania right here, Moldova, Ukraine right in the middle.
Okay. So what? Yeah. Anything else? Did you find out anything else? So she just couldn't take care of you?
Couldn't take care of me. Probably had a bunch of trauma. Turns out there was a civil war going on when I was conceived, so it's very high possibility I was a child of assault.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But not confirmed. You don't know that for sure.
Not confirmed. I mean, there was a war going on. It literally says, "I have no husband. I'm alone," in the letter that she wrote out.
Yeah.
So high probability is my guess. And right. Yeah.
And so how did you get here? What happened?
I was in the hospital unclaimed for about a year, then in an orphanage, then back in the hospital because I was very sick as a child, like as a baby. And then my mom, I guess, she saw about a parent taking their kid from the adoptive parents and said, "Well, I don't want that to happen." And I think picked a random country and said, "I'm getting a child from a random country."
Oh, okay. So your adoptive mom did that.
Yeah, I really don't know. I just knew she wanted to have another adopted child, but she heard about a child literally being taken from their adoptive parents by their birth parents. She was like, "Well, I don't want that happening." And my sibling, their birth parents were an hour away. So my mom's like, "Well, I'm not messing with that." So I think she just picked a random country and just said, "Okay." Like, I really don't know why they picked me. She picked me. She's in the letter. She said she really didn't want a special needs child, but my medical record says otherwise from Moldova.
Interesting. So you mentioned that you have a sibling and they're adopted as well?
Yep.
But they're domestic adoptee.
Yep.
So how is that different with you being transnational and then having a domestic? Was there any differences growing up or?
Oh, yes. I was always the troublemaker in the family. Like, I never sat still, never could shut up. I still can't shut up. I have ADHD. And I was always getting into things. Like, I remember one memory I have is my sister, my sibling, we had some fish in our cat. We go home from school and the cat's by the fish bowl and there's no fish in the bowl.
What happened?
The cat ate them.
The cat ate them. Oh, no.
Came home from school, there were no fish, and the cat was by the bowl with a stupid grin on his face.
Oh, no.
But the differences between us were my sister was very quiet, very reserved. I was loud, never shut up. Basically, my best friend met me. I walked up to her, said, "Hey, do you like this show?" And she's like, I'm like, and I just started talking about the show, and she's like, "You're really weird. I like you," and we've been friends since then.
My son has ADHD and he does that too. He'll start going on about a show and like before too long you've heard the entire the
The whole
entire
plot, the
movie or
whole
whatever.
plot.
The whole
Oh yeah, I get that.
So how did you guys get along, you and your adopted your sister when you were growing up?
When we were really little, I think we got along, and then like I guess I had some like behavior stuff where I had like these really bad meltdowns and stuff and fits. So like she didn't want to be associated with me, and I remember when she was 16 and I was 12, we were fighting about something stupid in the house. Mom was in the garage. I can't remember what we were fighting about, but the next thing I know, she's pinned me to the ground, 16 years old, and she's considerably bigger than me because I'm this little kid. And she's got her hands around my throat. Sorry for the mental image, but yeah, that was an experience.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So what about now? How old is
Uh
she? And how old are
33.
you?
I'm 30 and she's 33.
Do you guys have a relationship now?
Eh, mom kind of forces it, but I went before she moved apartments because she moved down the road that we live on, and we used to live across the parking lot from each other. And I'd walk in her place, she'd be like, "Leave."
Oh wow.
And today we were at like church. My mom still makes me go to church, despite my heritage that I found out I had. And she when I was in seventh grade, she tripped me because I told a bad joke. Actually, the band teacher told the joke, and it was, "Did you and your sibling ever play I Spy when you were younger? We are both legally blind. That's not a joke you make."
Oh my gosh.
So bad. And I told her that, and she swept my leg with her cane. And I'm like, I came to school, and the teacher's like, "You told her." It's like, "Mr. Miller, you know me. I don't shut up. I'm terrible at keeping secrets. You know I'd tell it."
So what's your relationship like with your adoptive parents?
Ooh, that was a rough one. Uh, I basically had to beg my mother for my files because I'm changing my name and gender marker for transitioning. And so I
Yeah.
need all the adoption files, all that information to show the Indiana to prove that I'm not a random person that just randomly showed up.
Yeah.
And have all the files basically in one of my not drawers, but like one of my shelves in my closet. And the relationship with my mom, I was always a troublemaker, and I felt like I always got blamed for things that I didn't do.
Mm.
And I do remember when my sister tried to strangle me. She Later on, I tried bringing it up like a couple, maybe this year, and she's like, "Well, you set off her autism, and you probably deserve to probably have that happen." It's like, okay, nobody deserves that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. How did that
But
feel when she said that?
it was rough, and it's
Yeah.
like, and my meds are being changed. I was finding out where I came from. Like this last year was several dumpsters on fire. The
Yeah.
dumpster fire was a circle of dumpsters. They were having a ritual, and they all were on fire.
Yeah. Oh
That
my
was the
gosh.
last year for me.
Yeah. So you did bring up that you're transgender and transitioning. What has that journey been like?
That's been different. I don't really have any. A lot of people I know who are transgender, they have their parents to look at. And I'm just like, Google, Google. I Google what the closest thing I'd look like. I don't even know what I'd look like, honestly, because most guys can be like, "Oh yeah, I'll look like my dad." It's like, good luck, good luck. I don't know. If I turn out looking like I do, good luck. That's just me.
Yeah. So you don't know, you didn't ever see a picture of your birth mother or
Never, never.
nothing.
She gave birth in the hospital, abandoned me. Dad was one and done. Basically, went back to Russia, as far as I know. Never heard from anybody from that again, and now I'm in America.
Yeah. So how did that genetic mirroring or not having that genetic mirroring, I mean, how did that affect you?
It was pretty pretty rough because my sibling got to know their birth family at 18, and because in Ohio legally you can meet your birth family with your adopted parents, okay, in Ohio, the state I was adopted in. But my sister was also adopted in Ohio, but with their national adoptee, it's a lot harder. It's
Yeah.
like, good luck.
Right. So do you think that that played a role in the transgender thing, or do you think that's totally separate
Oh,
from
that's
your
totally
adoption?
separate. I always felt that way since I was like 5 or 6 years old. I
Okay.
looked at my grandmother and said, I don't like dresses. And she's like, okay, I won't buy you that stuff anymore. And she bought me all the cool stuff like most grandmas would. She bought me all the really cool stuff I wanted. And I distinctly remember getting Pokemon boxers and begging my mother to let me wear them under my clothes for school. And I'm like, Mom, it's not against the dress code. You can wear them under. And she's like, because she taught her at school, she's like, no, 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 you're not. It's like,
Hmm.
fine. And so I wore them to the dentist one day underneath my shorts. I
You
remember
snuck them.
they were green, white, and had Mewtwo on them. I remember them perfectly. Because my grandmother was like, Digimon shirt or Pokemon boxers? And I was like, Pokemon boxers. It was like 1999, 2001, so I thought it was the coolest thing ever when I had
Heck
those.
yeah. So how is that with your adoptive parents now? Are they accepting of that?
My mom is, I was raised by a single mother. My stepdad, I mean, their family, they still call me by the wrong name. It's like, you guys are gonna look like the holidays are coming. I was like, I love y'all. Also, you're gonna look like you have early onset brain issues. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
It's a transition for them, I'm sure too.
Oh, they've
But
had like 11 years to do their thing, and
oh,
they still
okay.
haven't committed.
Yeah. Wow.
It's like
So how old were you
bad.
when, yeah. So how old were you when you found out you were adopted? Or
Oh, I always knew my mom had all these books that obviously painted the romantic picture of it.
yeah.
All those books. I was like, yay, yay, adoption. It's like, and then like I remember when I was a kid, the Hey Arnold Christmas special came out, and this is really interesting. Mr. Win, the Vietnamese guy, he had to give his child up for adoption because of a war, and I didn't even know there was a war in Moldova when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I like watched that episode. I was like, okay, I'm never watching that again. That was too sad, and I didn't know why it was too sad. And now
Mm,
I'm older. I'm like, oof, they let that air on TV.
yeah.
Oof.
Now it all makes
But
sense.
the happy thing of it was he found his daughter, and Arnold's Christmas present to him was finding his daughter because he knew that's what he wanted every year was to find his daughter, and he ended up
Hmm.
finding her. And like I don't know how much money that kid paid, but like, man, that must have been a lot of money or a lot for a kid to pay
Right?
for that. Like, realistically, that kid would not have been able to do it, realistically.
No, no,
But
no.
it's a story about a birth family being reunited. So that's the only like adopt that's kind of more adoptee and birth parent centric than any kids TV show I ever saw.
Yeah. I don't think I ever saw that one.
That was on Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I remember the
Yay, old
show. I just never
90s.
saw
That
that
was Arnold's
show, that
Christmas.
one.
That was the one
My
where,
kids probably did.
yeah, I refused to watch it. I didn't know why it was so sad. And now I'm older. I'm like,
Yeah, now you're like, it makes sense.
ew, ouch.
Yeah, interesting. So looking back as a kid, do you see adoption shaping you as a child and growing up? And how did you see that?
Yeah,
What did you
I was
notice?
usually the kid that was into the weird stuff. And also, I wasn't the actually quote unquote normal kid of the family. I was super hyperactive, always getting into things. My earliest memory of childhood is running into the file cabinet at church and getting put in a child-size straitjacket, and they glued my head back together.
What?
Yeah, I have a little scar really right here from where they glued me.
At the church?
Oh yeah, I ran into the file cabinet and they had to take me to the hospital. They put me in a child-size straitjacket and took me to the hospital at the hospital because they didn't have the thing where they can like put kids on like sedation and respiratory. Back then they had the child-size straitjackets.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
And as a child, I was not exactly, I guess, listened to or heard a lot, I felt.
Mm,
My sibling also had legal blindness, and I feel like since her eyesight was at the time worse, my mother seemed to uh, I felt she directed all the attention to my sister, and I exactly didn't exactly get along with anybody. I was not a happy child. I mean, I acted happy, but honestly, I wasn't.
mm, mm. Yeah. Like a lot of us do that. Are you able to search for your biological family?
I've tried, like I did DNA tests, I've done all the research I
Mm.
could. Nothing about my biological family, but I did find out, and this is very heavy, I have ancestors that died in the Holocaust.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How'd you find that out? Through
Uh,
Ancestry or?
I did my Heritage had their DNA quest where they send people kits, and it was just I was hoping to find my parents, but then I was like, why do I have so many like Ashkenazi and Sephardi Jewish matches? And it's like, but no DNA. And I started looking at names, and I was like, okay, these are a lot. I had like a ridiculous amount of matches from Germany, and I'm like, okay. And I was like, okay, that's weird. Also, I started just researching that stuff on my own. And I remember my mom said there's a big cemetery by the orphanage I was in Moldova. And I used yay old Google Maps to look up the orphanages in Chișinău in the district I was born in, which is Buyukani, the Buyukani district. And the only cemetery by an orphanage is a Jewish cemetery.
Mm, wow. So were you able to trace any of those relatives
Um,
to find out
I
what happened to them?
a lot of them either died as this is heavy, but some of them died in the gas chambers at Auschwitz. Like you can look it up on
Mm,
Ancestry on Holocaust Remembrance Day. That's what I did.
mm. How was that? Finding that out.
Rough, but also, you know, the thing I can do to honor them is try to make their memories a blessing, and just be a good person. I try. I try. I'm not perfect at it. Like nobody's perfect, but
Yeah.
I just try to be nice and kind to everybody, but also I call out stuff when I see it, and that's gotten me into trouble as a child.
So your DNA, you're part Jewish. What else did you find out?
Roma, Romani, so the slur I'm not gonna say, but it starts with a G. But I found out Romani, Jewish, a decent amount of Russian ancestry because my birth dad was Russian.
Hmm.
Like I don't know, like my heritage, not exactly they haven't updated their stuff in forever, so I'm saving for an ancestry kit because they're a little more accurate from what I hear.
Oh, okay. So which ones did you do?
I just did my heritage because my mom refused to pay for a kit for me. She thought it was stupid, and when I found out, she's like, "You're gonna run off to Moldova." It's like plane tickets are expensive. I'm medically a dumpster fire at the moment. I literally cannot drive. I'm blind. I barely know how to navigate the town, let alone an airport, let alone a country that I've never been to. Like
Yeah.
she really thought I was gonna run away to Moldova.
So your medical history, that sounds like that would be super important for you to
Yeah.
explore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So what I got from Moldova, and I can read this word for word from my iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
The child in the orphanage is in the orphanage in the age of 1 year and 1 month with a diagnosis of perinatal affection of the central nervous system with hypertensive hydrocephalic syndrome, probability of infantile cerebral paralysis, anemia, fasciitis 11, subactive evolution, no record of amnesia data. Period of adaptation was satisfactory. Suffered often from acute bronchitis. From March 22nd, 1994 to July 1st, 1994, was hospitalized with bronchitis. The diagnosis of obstructive recipitable bronchitis, catarrhal medium, bilateral otitis, perinatal affection of central nervous system with hypertensive syndrome, infantile cerebral paralysis. The child was examined by the doctor on 1/19/94, no change. Surgeon 1/25/94, healthy. Dentist 1/7/1994, healthy. The child is controlled by a psychoneurologist with the diagnosis premature organic harm of central nervous system with hypertensive syndrome, infantile cerebral paralyses. The child was not vaccinated. And that's all I have from there.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
that's a lot. And it's like,
And you
man, I
just
wish I
got
knew
that
that a year.
information
I literally
recently?
got that like 2 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh. What did you think when you read that?
I'm never giving this file back to my mother, no matter what she says.
Yeah.
Like, she can complain all she wants. I love her. Also, literally, I'm never giving this file back because you hid it from me for close to 29 years. Next
Mm,
month is my 29 years since I came to America. So in November. So if I don't know when you release them, but it's funny if you released it the week of Thanksgiving because that's the week I was brought home.
yeah. Did you
That'd
talk
be
to
really
your mom
ironic.
about it? Does she know that you have that information?
Oh, I had to beg her for it. She was really like, "You're not getting that stuff. And then like she was like, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're like hysterical. You don't know anything." It's like literally, I don't know anything because I don't have any history. What do you expect me to do? Oh yeah, you know history. It's like, no, no, no. I'm a medical dumpster fire. No one can figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah. It is frustrating.
But
Man.
the biggest thing was finding out my medical history, honestly. And I have my doctor's appointments. Literally, I have my primary and dietitian this week. And I'm really bringing my file to both appointments
Yes. Your
for
doctor's
health
going to want to see
reasons.
that stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely.
I agree.
Wow. That might help so much. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh
Even
my
my
gosh.
therapist is like, yeah, you literally have an untreated. I read it word for word and on my phone, and she's like, you literally have an untreated neurological condition that no one addressed.
Yeah. Wow.
And my mom was like, well, you just have bad balance problems because they wrapped you up in those swaddling things. It's like, I read the file. That is not that. If that was true, I would have gained my balance back by now.
Yeah. Well,
Yet I can
hopefully,
skateboard and play hockey. Those
well, that's good.
are the only two sports I can do:
Yeah.
skateboarding and hockey.
Right. Well, maybe they can figure out something to, hopefully it's not too late to fix some of those things and
The
they can
brain
figure
things are
out
pretty much
something.
ingrained at this point, but
Yeah.
usually with cerebral palsies, you want to get that done as soon as you're young. Of course, that didn't happen, and my mother hid the file from me. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh my
I think
gosh.
she's like, yeah, that was frustrating. But I look at it as I finally have the file. I can get actual medical help I actually need, and the hypertensive part is like my heart was being really weird for like a couple weeks after I had surgery, and like no one could figure out why. It's like,
Mm,
but everything looked normal and like everything was in the normal range. But now I'm like, oh, I probably have heart problems because of my premature birth or something.
so how premature were you?
I knew I weighed 2.2 pounds if you convert the
Wow.
grams. So
Wow.
1,100 grams was how much I weighed at birth. It says in my letter that when my mother gave me up. And if you convert that to American standard system, math is not my forte, but that's like barely 2 pounds.
Yeah.
I was the
Wow.
size of a kitten, like the weight of a kitten, if you want to know how small I was.
Wow. That's
I, yeah, it's
crazy.
crazy. It's super crazy to find out.
Yeah. My niece weighed 2 pounds, 13 ounces, I think. And I think her mom was about 6 months, 6.5 months along. So
Oh wow, then I was
probably,
totally lied about when I was supposed to be due. My
I
mom
don't
said I
know.
was
I
only
mean,
a couple months.
yeah,
She said I was supposed to be due in February, but apparently with my weight, I obviously was way,
yeah,
way not.
yeah,
I was at least possibly 6 months over
yeah,
premature, and like nobody told me. So,
yeah,
I obviously did not get the care I needed as a child.
right. Yeah. I wonder how, even in that country, what the care was like over
It was
there.
sus. I saw pictures.
Oh, really?
I Googled
Of
pictures
where
of the
you were at?
hospitals. No, I just went on Google and Googled what the hospitals would look like in 1994 when I was in that part of the world. And like, my mom was like, they had very good hospitals. Like, no, I saw the pictures. They were sus.
Mm.
They were not good. They were very sus. And of course, they were just breaking out from Soviet Russia. There was a civil war, like all that
Yeah,
was going on.
right.
Quite, quite, quite a lot to unpack with that one.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So, So you don't even know if you have biological siblings? You don't know anything.
Nope, nothing. My sibling has biological siblings, and I
And
guess
you never like got any pictures of like when you were a baby
I literally have the pictures
before?
from the orphanage.
Oh, you do.
They're
You
at
did
my
give me.
mother's house, but she thinks I'm going to destroy the memory book in a fit of rage. Where it's like, one, I'm not stupid enough to destroy that, and two, like I've been working my butt off in like trauma therapy, so
Yeah. Yeah.
she won't buy. It's kind of annoying, but she won't buy me a PS5 because sorry, that's my roommate's phone going off right next door. So if you
It's
hear
okay.
Dragon Ball Z, that's why.
I don't.
Um, but yeah. I literally when I was a kid, I had so many issues with like being abandoned and all that, and like my friends would abandon me and stuff. My friends remember I couldn't play hide and seek alone because I'd get scared and someone always had to be with me. But like I was so scared, I'd go to our basement. I don't know why, but I
The
liked our basement.
scariest
Maybe
place.
because our TV was down there, and the computer was down there, and all my toys were down there. I just would hide in the basement. But then I get scared and make someone go, and I make someone stay with me because I'd be like, no, no, it's too scary down here. And then like I jump out before they find me, like, you found me. I did not understand the concept of hide and seek because of that.
Oh my gosh.
I
So
did not understand the concept of hide and seek.
you mentioned that you've had trauma therapy. What kind of trauma therapy did you have?
I do EDMR every 2 weeks, and I do talk psychotherapy every other week. So every other week, I cycle through both talk
And
therapy and EDMR.
how is that helping you?
Yeah, but man, the dreams are vivid AF, put
Really?
nicely.
Wow.
And I was warned the dreams would be vivid, but like they were super vivid.
So like memories, you think?
It's like
Or
they it's like I don't see very well. I'm legally blind, it's considered legally blind now. And
Mhm.
so my therapist has these things that basically stimulate your brain, your left and right brain, and they're like vibrate in your hands. It kind of goes vibrate, 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 vibrate,
Yeah.
and like lights up your brain. And then you they ask you a question and then you talk about it, and then they do the vibrating thing, and then ask you another question. Like it turns out I have a really bad innate fear of dying,
Mm.
which makes sense after literally I figured out my history. So
Yeah. Yeah. So is that any of that therapy helping, you think?
yeah, I think it is. And
Good.
literally being my own legal guardian has really helped things.
So
Like
you had to,
legally I'm my own guardian, so
yeah.
that really helps things because I can be like, Mom, I love you. Also, scoot scoot, I can do this. I mean the nicest way possible. Scoot
Yes.
scoot, I can do this.
Yeah. She a big
Yeah,
worry
and
wart.
a little too well, she likes to overstep boundaries, and the organization that helps, I'm in supported livings, but I live in an apartment with a roommate. But the supported living that I live in, uh they literally make sure I get to doctor's appointments and all that. And sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. The doctor, they help me get to doctor's appointments, but my mom literally wants to know every single detail. It's like I feel guilty if I don't tell her, but also she literally tells her friends those details
Oh, wow.
and they ask her not to. It's like,
Yeah.
excuse me. It's
Yeah, that's
like
not cool.
literally, that's not exactly something you're supposed to do, even if you're my mother.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, she's worried about you, but then at the same
I
time, there's some boundaries there that
The boundaries are
getting
there's no concept of boundaries with her.
right.
She can waltz into the apartment like she owns the place, and she doesn't.
Yeah. So, do you consider yourself ever being in the adoption fog?
Oh yeah, I thought when I was a kid, I was like, "Ha! Your parents are stuck with you. I was chosen." Ha! I loved to roast. I was a jerk child. I would roast the other kids like it was going out of style.
So, when did you kind of start coming out of the fog? What kind of
Honestly, I know we weren't going to talk about it, but the war in Ukraine, when I found out Putin was going to probably bomb Moldova,
mm, that's when you came out of the fog?
yeah, literally like within the last 10 months.
Wow. All right. So, what did that look like? And How are you
Lots of
dealing
mental
with
health
that?
breakdowns. Lots of mental health breakdowns. The organization thinking I'm just trying to start stuff, thinking I'm hysterical, not knowing anything. It's like, dude, no. And I'm like, I was willing to do a webinar for them on adoption trauma. And like they wouldn't know, I got crickets.
And
It's
who is
like
this that you?
this organization that takes care of me in Indiana.
Uh-huh.
They don't really take care of me. They help with me, but literally I can still make my own medical and legal choices. I'm not totally incapacitated. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not incapacitated at all. My mother
Right.
thinks I am, but when you have medical history, you don't know what the fudge you're doing, honestly.
Exactly.
Put
Yeah,
it nicely.
definitely. So when did you start your trauma therapy? How long ago?
About 5 months ago. Oh,
Okay. So
dropped an
that's
earbud.
so that's good though. I mean, that's probably helping deal with all that stuff.
Yeah. I also had a mental health provider in the past who absolutely, not only was I coming out of the fog, my medicine was changed all at once. All my mental health meds, they did the gene site
Oh
test,
my
I swab your cheek,
gosh. Yeah.
send it off, say, okay, this is what your body does to medicine. And the old provider was like, no, okay, this isn't working. We're changing everything. It's like,
Oh
and I'm pretty sure
no.
I would have, like, literally, like, my mom didn't believe anything was sus with her. Everyone else did. I was like too scared to say anything because literally my life is in this person's hands. Why would I mess it up? Like,
That's
you're
so
not supposed to, I know
frustrating.
you're not supposed to change those meds literally like all at once.
Yeah.
That's what she did. And I literally was like, I'm like I look like I'm basically in children's clothing. I am literally, I was about close to about 190 at the beginning of, like close to 180, 190, literally in October of last year. I'm 139 now.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
insane, like without trying.
Wow. Just because of the medication change?
Medication changes, trauma, PTSD, and I got an infection that's common in the countries I was born in, and they don't know how I got it. So that's just been sitting dormant and just said, "Hello, I'm here."
What?
And it's H. pylori vat infection that nobody knew where it came from at all. If it
Wow.
was the water in our apartment, my roommate would have gotten sick too. So it doesn't make any sense how I had it at all. So
Yeah.
I've been dropping weight, not being able to gain weight, and yeah. So I go to a dietitian, go to a regular doctor. Like I had probably 70
You have a lot of
to,
doctor's appointments.
yeah. And it took me a while to keep track of all of them. Like some of them were like like two in a day. So I would just go to the office, bring my laptop, and just play on my laptop between appointments.
Right?
Whatever gave me time to do whatever I wanted to
Oh
do
my
on it.
gosh.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So, anything else that's helped you deal with your adoption trauma besides your
Um,
therapies?
Playing hockey, drawing, listening to music, and skateboarding.
Yeah, definitely. It's good. And what would you tell struggling adoptees? What would you want them to know?
It doesn't exactly get better at all by any means, but listen to yourself, and you know yourself better than anybody. Better than your adoptive parents, better than anybody. You know yourself better than the world does. Give yourself a little credit. The world thinks we're not exactly know what we're doing, but we know ourselves best.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to talk about your story
Um,
that we missed?
when I was a child, gets very heavy, so very big trigger warning. But because of my mother's possible assault and that being my circumstance of birth, when I was a child, I had four kids basically assault me, and then another kid did it when I was in fourth grade. I tell my mother, and she's like, "Well, he probably wanted it to happen." It's like, okay, I'm not telling you any of that anymore. Like, you're
Oh
not
my
allowed to hear that.
gosh. Yeah.
And my mother likes to the texts I've gotten are not very, some of them are not very nice at all, which sucks. But some of the ones I've gotten are, man, I'm not gonna give my mom's name because I value her privacy, and she'd probably,
Yeah, no, we won't do
she'd
that.
probably be very mad at me, but I value her privacy enough to not give her name, but still, the text she sent me were when I was like frustrated with something. I'm trying to find these texts. These were ridiculous. This is when I was begging for my
For your medical
actual
records?
medical records. She said, wow, these are a lot of texts. I like could search for these, but that just takes longer. So, let's see. Oh man, that's a lot of text, but it was really bad. But she said, I said, I said, she said, I went through the adoption through, I paid for you to have a comfortable home, etc. Legally, I'm my own guardian. You can't keep that paperwork forever. And I did talk to a lawyer on Wednesday because I'm changing my name and gender marker.
Mm-hmm.
You just didn't believe it because that doesn't fit the I paid for you and I own you narrative. Actually, you're so angry that you're adopted that you can't get angry at your birth parents, so you take it out on me. I've been treated like over and over. You take what you need and give me the rest so it's not lost, or walk to Indianapolis tomorrow. Be totally on your own and see how far you get. I literally looked up the laws. They are public record and I've obeyed. Just saying I have legal rights to them. Never said you didn't. You can keep them at my house, but I have rights too. You keep throwing "you're not my guardian" in my face, I'll let you know what emancipated really looks like. You're bleep lucky to have me. You would still be screaming about the old medication provider without my intervention. Good night. I said, and then like that's all the crap she literally texted me within like 20 minutes,
Yeah.
and it was ridiculous.
It's so hard.
Yeah, it's like literally, it's like, dude, literally. And she like she doesn't, like, I'm unemployed because of like medical stuff and I'm trying to get a job again, and like my mom's like, well, I'll pay your internet and your utilities until January. It's like, yeah, that you're gonna have to pay until after January because the way things are looking, Milk Rehab is very far behind. I'm just waiting on everything. It's a waiting game. And she and my stepdad really love to drive the "when are you getting a job" kind of deal. It's like, dude, I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Yeah, you've got a lot of medical issues going on too.
Yeah, it's
So,
like
and with
I
all the
mean,
doctor's appointments and things right now, like how can you
yeah,
even have a
yeah, I
work
haven't got time to
schedule?
work. Like it's ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
she, and then I had my hysterectomy done. I just gotta get my name and gender marker changed, and everything will be done with that.
Mm-hmm. So you're moving forward with that this next year.
I got the hysterectomy done already. I just gotta do the
Yeah.
name and gender marker change, and that's the last part.
Yeah.
And then I'm converting to Judaism since I found out I had ancestors that died in the
Oh,
Holocaust.
all right.
Mother absolutely threw a crap fit, to put it nicely.
Really?
Like she's like, no,
About the
you're
religious part?
both, everything,
Oh
everything,
gosh.
everything. And
Yeah.
it was very frustrating because I was raised Lutheran, and I was like, yeah, these vibes are off since I was a little kid. I never really understood it. I was like, the vibes are off. No offense to anybody
Yeah. This wasn't right
who's
for you.
Christian. I just feel like this is the vibes are off. I don't get it. And I was like, why did I never really feel a connection to this? I just kind of did what was expected because like when you get confirmed, like you have to do all this stuff where like you do all this like talking and stuff. It's really a lot, and it was a lot. But I knew my sister got $100 from my aunt. I was like, ooh, $100 in eighth grade, that's a lot of money. In eighth grade, that's a decent amount of
That is a
cash.
lot of money in eighth grade.
Yeah, and so I was like, well, I know I get money out of this, so it sounds horrible, but like when you're eighth grade, no job, no that stuff, and then like in school, that even being adopted affected me in school because my mother taught at my school.
Oh boy.
She would tell stories.
Oh
Like
boy.
the year I thought Jesus was gonna be under the freaking Christmas tree because she had to explain that like he wouldn't be under the Christmas tree. We kind of say we act like he comes every year. And it's like, and then my sister's just looking at me goes, yeah, but in 3 months we get to kill him.
My
Easter.
gosh.
I was like, no. And I think my mom just told her to shut up and rushed me out of the room.
Oh my gosh.
But I genuinely thought Jesus would be on the tree. Like I'm sobbing at my grandmother, like, he didn't come, he didn't come. And I was like, no, no, the presents are right there, the presents are right there. It's like, no, 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 there's no baby Jesus under the tree. And mom's like,
Most kids are crying because they figured out Santa wasn't true and you were crying that Jesus wasn't gonna be at the tree.
I was not the brightest child on the brightest bulb on the Christmas tree as a child. Sometimes that bulb isn't very bright these days. I try. It's pretty funny, but Man, that nobody knew that story because
Hey,
like
you gotta
all of our
laugh at
students,
yourself sometimes,
yeah,
right?
but nobody knew that story in my class I grew up in because they all were elementary kids. And my mom taught in high school. Once I got to high school, I got roasted like a
Oh
chestnut for
my
that one.
gosh.
Like they just walked up and like, "Hey, idiot, Jesus isn't gonna be on the tree." It's like,
Oh
shut
no.
up.
They're never gonna let that go.
Yeah, they never let that go when I was in high school, and of course, I was not treated very well at the high school I was at either.
Yeah. It wasn't a private, was
Oh
it?
no, 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 it's
It's
public.
public.
My mother taught at public school, very small town in Ohio.
Okay.
But that school, I don't even know why I'm going back to that town's 150th anniversary. Have those people I don't want to see again.
Are you going for a reunion or
Unfortunately, my
something?
mom already booked the hotel.
Oh, you're going.
I don't have a choice at this point.
Oh boy.
I don't have a
Was it a
choice.
school reunion or?
No, no, the town I grew up in is turning 150.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
everybody who's been there within the
But it's
last
probably a
like
small,
ages is like I'm gonna see all these people I saw in high school. It's like
yeah, fun.
I'm gonna walk up and like I had PTSD because of you jerks.
Yeah, right. Oh
Like
my
literally,
goodness.
I was bullied to the point in high school that the band director did nothing. The person bullying me was section leader, so she got away with everything. When I was a 17-year-old and she was a legal adult, so 18, she and her mother orchestrated a false essay claim against me,
Oh wow.
which is bad. And like I literally was a wreck from that one. And yeah, I didn't think I was gonna make it through junior year that year, but I somehow did, and
Mm,
absolutely, I was very glad to kick that place out.
yeah.
It's like it's like I turned to a kid at graduation and said, "As soon as we leave, I'm getting the heck out of here." And he just goes,
Right.
"Word." Yeah, but as soon as I graduated, I was like, "Okay, I'm seeing you losers later. Goodbye."
Yeah.
But
Oh my gosh.
the only good thing that precedes me from that high school is I'm literally still known as the most insanely artistic person in my graduating class and the biggest My Chemical Romance fan.
So artistic, what do you do?
Cartoons. I have my
Oh,
sketchbook in my
cool.
closet, but I think I have a few
Awesome.
pictures on my phone I can pull up actually. I've done on my old iPad. So
Cool.
I can send you those pictures too later,
Yeah.
so you can
Yeah,
put
I'd
them
like to
on
see them.
for like a
Yeah.
promo. So
Yeah.
I'll just pull up. I can just look up art. Yeah, I have a lot of art. Holy cow, too
That's
much art on here.
awesome.
I love to draw. Like I have friends that love to draw. I have a lot of people. I took private art lessons. My friend told my mother, "I love him. Please stop paying me."
Cute.
I have to look for the ones on my iPad. Oh, that's an iPod one. That's a weird one I found on the internet. I can't spell iPad. Ah,
Maybe you should get in touch with some, like, be an illustrator for
I should. That'd be good. I'm really good at drawing. I am good at drawing.
get a hold of some publishers or something,
Yeah, I
or
do want to publish like my own work, my own like book about it, and then make a comic out of it
that'd
about
be
my
cool.
adoption.
Yeah, that would be awesome to do a comic about adoption.
Yeah,
That would be awesome. You need to do that.
I should. That'd be
Your New
awesome.
Year's resolution for
Yeah,
2024.
my 24. Yep. Trying to somehow get a book out
Now's
there
the
that's a
time to
comic
do
book.
it.
Once I get an iPad that actually works, I have to wait till tax season for that one.
Yeah,
I do a lot of
definitely.
digital art, but let's
Cool.
see. I had one I do a lot of comic book art, so I do a lot of drawings. Like drawing is my favorite thing to do, I swear. Very therapeutic. So, oh yeah, I'll send you some art that
Definitely.
I have on my I'll just do some scanning of
Yeah,
some
send me
art
some.
and I'll send you some stuff to use for promos.
Sounds great.
But my other favorite thing is ice hockey.
Yes, I
There's an
know
ice hockey
this.
store up in Carmel called Pure Hockey because Carmel, Indiana's on the way to my mom's house. So I beg her to stop there every time we're driving through Carmel because it's literally on the way home. I was like, "Mom, can we stop at Pure Hockey?" And she's like, she puts up, she hates hockey. Like she absolutely hates it. She doesn't
Oh,
really, she absolutely hates hockey, and she's resigning herself to one NHL game next year to see the Capitals play the Bruins. I like the
okay.
Capitals.
Yeah, I like to watch it in person. It's too hard for me to watch it on TV because I can't see the puck. I'm like, I don't know. And I'm
Nowadays, I have puck
horrible at the
tracking.
rules. I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't get the penalties.
I do.
I don't
Like
get
cross-checking,
it.
high sticking, uh, tripping, slashing, uh, slashing, interference is when a player steps in front and block and messes up something. There's game penalties for getting in fights. There's
That's the
match
best part.
penalties. Yeah, exactly. My mom doesn't understand that. Like, I explained the hockey code to her, and she's like, "They keep the peace by punching each other in the face." I said, "Yes."
They get their aggression out.
Yeah, like my favorite thing to do is like shoot pucks around and like just like do that. That's a good way to get my frustrations out.
Yeah.
Like I'm not as aggressive as I was as a child, but I still have some issues with that. But I'm finding better ways to do it. I journal, I shoot hockey pucks, listen to music, draw. I
Yeah.
definitely have better ways of dealing with that stuff than I used to.
Right. Awesome. It's finding all those things out, you know.
Yeah, that was within the past 10 months. So that's been a wild it's been a
Yeah,
wild 10 months for me,
it
my friend.
has. How is
11 months
the
coming up next year.
yeah. I know you're in some of the adoptee groups on Facebook. Have they been helpful?
Yeah, mostly the Aaron County of Adoptee Voices. I like that one. I mean, adoptees who have cut ties because I am looking at honestly looking into like doing the whole no contact deal with my adoptive mother just because she doesn't understand she really hasn't respected boundaries. It's just frustrating. The
Yeah.
legal stuff is getting muddy, you know.
Yeah.
And big trigger warning, but when I started going to synagogue, her idea of rebuting it was when I wouldn't give names was relax. It's not like I'm going to kill everyone there. It's like, mother, you cannot say that. That is considered a threat.
Yeah.
Like people will take that seriously, especially
Yeah,
five
you
months
can't
after
say that
the tree of life.
nowadays.
You can't say that now. You couldn't even say that back in January because that was when
No.
the tree of life shooting was like 3 months late earlier. People were still very raw from that. It's like,
Yeah.
mother, you can't say that crap.
Right.
It's
Well,
like,
anything else you want to share about your adoption experience that we
um,
haven't covered?
let's see. I have made a lot of friends who are adoptees, which is nice. And mostly on Facebook because like there's not enough adoptees in the town I grew up in
Yeah.
or the town I live in now. Really, you got to go like hunting for them. Oh gosh, that sounds weird. You kind of got to go. You got to go like looking around. Like I ran into one at It's funny. Like I was really frustrated about like waiting for my mom to get to Applebee's in the town I live in, and she's like, "Well," and she was running behind, and I was frustrated. And it's like you literally, and I found out how much my adoption papers cost, which was $500.
Holy moly.
I was the price of a PlayStation 5 to
That's
legally adopt.
crazy. That's crazy.
So I don't even think it was fully legal. Like that just seems way too cheap to pay for a freaking child.
$500.
And that was in
Wow.
1994. That even sounds way too cheap by those standards.
Yeah,
I'm sure my sister was more money than I was, honestly.
probably. Yeah.
So, sus. Very sus. Yeah. But in my free time, I do like video games. I don't have a video game system. I recently sold my PlayStation 4 Pro because I'm saving it for PS5, and I need a new TV in my room for that. So it's more of a waiting game for that stuff.
Yeah.
And
You
then
got to get
like
that iPad and get this
gotta get that
illustrated.
iPad and do the art thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if like Voc Rehab would actually. I doubt they would, but like pay for an iPad if I made that a professional thing. I don't
Maybe.
know. It's a weird thing. I'd have to ask them.
Yeah.
When they do my intake stuff. I still haven't got my approval letter. They're several months behind with everybody, not just me. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
pandemic, all
Right.
that. Like it is what it is. It's more of a waiting game.
Sure. Try it though. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice. I mean, they're already getting the AirPods, so I literally can like walk around town and not be in a boot for 4 months. Because if you're in Fireside, you remember I had that giant boot on my left foot.
Mm-hmm.
No boot,
No boot.
no boot. I was in that for
Nice.
4 months. I kept wrecking my foot, and that's how they found out I was legally blind because I didn't have a low vision exam. since I was 5 years old. So like literally,
Oh my
I don't know
goodness.
why my mother literally was. I genuinely do not know how that went through, honestly. She didn't even
Wow.
speak Russian, which is wild, which is what they spoke over there.
Yeah.
She spoke French to them and they just handed me over, is what she told me. It's
She
like,
spoke French.
yeah, she was a foreign language teacher.
Oh,
Foreign language
jeez.
teacher, and she spoke French, and they're like, this never happened before. They handed me over and I went on the plane. Of course, she had all the paperwork, but obviously back in 1994, you could forge that a lot easier than you can now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well,
Yeah, so
I hope
stuff
you
going
get
on with
some
that.
stuff figured out with this medical stuff and
Me too.
yeah,
Dude, I just want my life back. That's how I look at
I
it. I used to be
know.
skateboarding, playing hockey, going to work. I
Yeah.
mostly just like nowadays just like go around town, hang out at the mall. Like I'm surprised they haven't been charging me rent at the skateboard shop I hang out at. That's much I hang out there. Like they joke about charging me rent. It's like I know, I have no money. I'm sorry.
You're like, why don't you just hire me? I could work here.
Exactly. Like I have already done
I'm
an
already
internship there.
here.
I know, like I already know that place well enough. I know how to put skateboards together. I just can't do the grip tape razors because like I'm blind. Like who would trust me with that?
Yeah.
And we figured
Maybe
that out when I
maybe you
interned
could
there.
do custom illustrations on skateboards.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
That'd be
Like
cool.
that'd be
You make a lot
cool.
of money doing that.
I could. I don't know how to do it. Maybe, yeah, that's a really good idea. I could do designs on my iPad and do them for the shop. Maybe I could
Yeah.
get an iPad to get thing together for their 13 or 14 year anniversary this next year of being open.
Jacky, I have 100 ideas for you.
I have 100 ideas for myself.
You're gonna
Yeah.
do just fine.
Yeah, I have a lot of good
You're
ideas.
gonna be a famous illustrator.
I think I would if my mother didn't push the starving artist crap on me so much.
Yeah.
Even my
No,
stepdad's
you
like,
could make
why
a
isn't he an
ton of
artist? He's
money.
good. It's like, my mom was like, starving artist, he won't make money.
It's your gift.
My gift.
Go for it.
I like drawing a lot. My grandmother taught me to draw. It's actually 20 years since she passed away this weekend.
Hmm.
So it's a very weird weekend for me, but
Yeah.
I feel like my grandma would be proud. Something I texted one of my aunts.
Awesome.
I said, let me find the text. It was really not, it was a really good way to put it. But text, I gotta look through all my texts up ridiculous. I said, or she said, my aunt said, I said, not to be sad, but today is 20 years since grandma passed away. I posted that Friday. I texted Friday. We should do some art to honor her memory. Just an idea. And then my aunt texted, Mom never taught me any art like she did you, but I'll draw to honor her artistic talents. And I said,
Mm.
art can be anything. Doesn't have to be drawing or painting, just existing as an art in itself.
Oh, that's great. That's a great quote. I love that.
Thank you.
It's awesome. Well, Jacky, thanks for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
I hope you enjoyed this interview with Jacky today. It always saddens me to hear these stories where people cannot find any biological relatives. As adoptees, someone signed our rights away to our biology before we could even comprehend what was happening or speak to be able to stand up for our rights. Our rights were taken away from us. They were signed away by someone else. And as we get older, we still are not privy to that information. And it just seems ludicrous to me and makes me so angry. As adoptees, we are a small voice in a huge pond, and it's so difficult to have our voices heard. But we have to keep telling our stories. We have to keep getting the narrative out there, and hopefully there will be some legislation that will change that narrative. And if you would like to help us keep that narrative out there by telling your story, please contact me by email at mindyourownkarma@gmail.com, and let's get your story on the podcast. Lastly, it is not too late to possibly win 3 free somatic mindful guided imagery sessions with me. All you have to do is go on Apple Podcast and rate and review Mind Your Own Karma. The way to do that is put in the search Mind Your Own Karma, the Adoption Chronicles, Just click on the main logo at the top of the page and scroll down about 6 episodes and you will see the ratings and review section. Leave a review and send me an email at mindyourownkarma@gmail.com and tell me that you left a review and you will be entered to win the 3 free sessions. And at the beginning of December, I will be sending out an email to that lucky winner. Just remember that the journey is inevitable, but the baggage is optional. As always, take what you need and leave what you don't. And always remember to mind your own karma. I'll see you next time.